Hi everyone, my name is Ritchie and I'm a psychologist in private practice from Melbourne, Australia. As psychologists, we spend a lot of time listening to the very personal and painful accounts of our clients' lives as they pour out their hearts to us. However, in a counseling situation, many of us professionals tend to keep a very tight lid on ourselves, on a certain part of ourselves in particular. And what I'm talking about is our flaws and vulnerabilities. And this is obviously to avoid being seen or judged as incompetent or inadequate by our clients. But there is something that I've been wanting to share for a long time about myself, but have just been putting it off because I never ever worked up the courage to do so until now. So it's my sincere hope that what I'm about to share will be of some benefit to you in your journey. As many of you may be able to tell from my appearance, I was born with a facial deformity, the most obvious being a cleft lip. On that note, I just want to give a shout out to all of those out there with a cleft lip and no palate who are watching this video. I've watched a number of homemade videos by you people, and I just want you to know that you are an inspiration for me doing this video today. So keep your light shining from wherever you are. Anyway, back to my story. Apart from a cleft lip, I was also born with several other congenital defects, which may or may not be apparent to you as you're looking at this video. I have something called choanotresia, which is a complete blockage of the nasal passage ever since I was born. So that meant I couldn't breathe or smell with my nose since I was a baby, until it was just recently corrected a few years ago. Also, if you looked at this part of my face here, you might notice a darker patch compared to the rest of my face. In this particular area, there is no connecting tissue or muscle. This led one craniofacial surgeon just a couple of years ago to conjecture that I may have very well been born with a cleft that extended up my face, as opposed to just a cleft lip, like is usually the case. So all these defects that I've mentioned have been a constant source of grief and pain for me throughout my life, and I've often wondered why I had to be born looking like this. In a society where there's so much attention and importance placed on appearance, all I've ever wanted to look was normal, like most other people, certainly not like this. So growing up as a kid, I was always shy and extremely self-conscious, not just of the way I looked, but how I sounded as well. Most people who heard me speak for the first time would instantly, be of the mistaken idea that I had some sort of a bad cold, especially in the phone. Some people even felt I was mumbling, but the truth was that was how I really sounded. And what could you expect from a shy little boy who had all these problems? As you can imagine, social situations were always a nightmare for me. I never had much success in making friends because of my deep feelings of inadequacy, and certainly not when it came to dating, where my chances, I think, were very close to none. After all, I thought to myself, what girl would want a guy looking like this? On the rare occasion that I've been out on dates with some girls, I've heard comments from them saying that they wanted someone who looked presentable or good looking. So of course it hurt to be reminded that I wasn't even, meeting the bar or the acceptable standard of society in that department. So to those parents with children with a cleft or any other facial deformity who are watching this video, I just want you to know, despite all I've said about my personal experience growing up with all my defects on my face, it's not a death sentence if your kid is born with a facial deformity. But the reality is that it would more likely than not be a harder road for your child to travel. Now I'm saying it as it is, really, because I'm the sort of person who sees no reason to sugarcoat the truth. The sooner you learn the reality of the situation, the better it is you'll be able to deal with it. So nevertheless, you can certainly help make it easier for your child, particularly by providing a stable home environment, one which is filled with a lot of affection, love, and encouragement. As a child, I never really got these things, and that just made the task of growing up and finding my identity that much harder. So tell your kids that they are beautiful, and try not to say that you look beautiful, because when you do that, there are two problems here. A, it's not a good idea to emphasize the appearance, because then they'll keep wanting to pursue and perfect that part of themselves, and you know where that all leads to. And B, they are going to get a very different message from the world sooner or later, if you know what I'm saying. And to all of you who are surviving with a cleft lip or palate or any other facial defect, I just want to say this to you. Even though your life may feel harder than everyone else's, don't be afraid to follow your heart. Go after whatever it is that you are passionate about in your life. And don't be resigned to doing what other people tell you should be doing. Instead, go after the thing that makes you excited every day. For me, there is nothing that gives me more meaning and purpose in my life than connecting, sharing, and transforming the lives of those I have the privilege of meeting as a psychologist. If I can get to where I am today, despite my challenges and inadequacies, I'm very sure that you can too. So keep your dream alive and never, ever give up on yourself. I hope my personal sharing today has been helpful to you in some way. And if you have any particular questions or comments, please feel free to leave them for me below. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you and all the best.